Welcome to Dig on America, where we speak truth to power. Every week, we give you the dig on how American history, policies, and media created the social and political issues we face today. DOA is independent media supported by listeners.
My 8th grade social studies teacher,
Mr. Humble,
taught me things that turns out wasn't always the whole story. And this week, we will look at more of the GOP strategy when it comes to midterms. Specifically this week, the Tea Party, and ask, where is the plan from Nancy Pelosi? It's going to be a short answer. Last week, we focused on Newt Gingrich's 1994 midterm strategy with the contract with America, a movement that largely inspired the GOP plan in 2010, which took place during the first midterm under President Obama. References to the Boston Tea Party have been a part of tax day protests held for decades. In 1984, the Koch brothers founded Citizens for a Sound Economy, or CSE, whose mission was to, quote, fight for less government and less regulation. Congressman Ron Paul was appointed as the chairman. The CSE lobbied for policies favorable to corporations, you don't say, particularly tobacco. In 2002, a Tea Party website was launched by the CSE aimed at Americans who feel taxes are too high and the tax code too complicated. Well, they're right on that second point. In 2004, CSE split into two different entities.
What's CSE again? I lost the acronym.
CSE was the Citizens for a Sound Economy, a Koch brothers production.
Citizens for bootlicking.
It is for bootlicking.
Go.
And again, in 2004, CSE split into two entities, FreedomWorks and Americans for Prosperity. I love their titles. Republicans are so good at titling stuff.
Yeah, it's easy to title shit when you're fucking lying.
Yeah, just say, we're patriots. And patriot, freedom,
it's
prosperity.
Prosperity.
Yeah, it's always
money.
It's always titled, the book is always titled something that has nothing to do with the content of the book.
Heritage Foundation.
Yeah. We're going to call this movie Doctor Strange, and it's about a young girl's journey to winning the badminton championship. That's how they do it. Anyway, the tax-centered agenda of these two, of the CSE, was a key piece of Ron Paul's 2008 presidential bid. Now, after Obama took office in 2009 and amid the darkest parts of the 2008 recession that began late in the second term of Bush II, the Tea Party emergence took place, and there were no celestials to stop that emergence. Well, on tax day 2009, Houston attorney Ryan Hecker developed a grassroots call for reform and launched a website called Contract from America, not to be confused with Contract with America, which offered
the remix. It's the remix.
This is this was when Craig Mack had on. Yes, exactly. He had a
Mr. Fat Boy Scoop.
Yeah, Busta Rhymes and Puffy.
It's a remix.
And Fred Durst was on that track. So Contract from America offered citizens a chance to propose possible planks for the open source contract, which were proposed at CPAC in 2009. Among these planks were that every law or bill drafted by Congress must cite the part of the Constitution that granted the authority of Congress to even address the issue. Wow. And to adopt a single rate tax system by replacing the IRS code with a code that had one criteria. It be no longer than 4,543 words. Now, why would they pick 4,543 words? I wonder why. It's because that is the length of the original Constitution.
Can I move to Canada now?
How is that relevant?
Can this be dig on North America?
That's like you say that, what is it, the 13 words? They are obsessed with the number of words, these people. Isn't it the 13 words you say so you could join the Aryan Nation or Ku Klux Klan or something like that?
Why not? Well, why not pick the Bible?
88.
The Bible's got 4 million words. Why can't we just use the Bible?
1776.
Yeah. Here, do that, Mike. You're right. How about we have a tax code no longer than
Father,
700
Son, and the Holy Ghost.
No, 1,776 letters. That's it. That's all we need.
Or how about this?
Tax the church. Done.
take money out of politics. Is that less than 1,770?
Right.
Is that less? Is that enough?
Yeah.
But y'all couldn't figure that shit out. But now you want to fucking have a 4,000 word limit, but you can't figure out. Stop taking money from motherfuckers who don't give a fuck about other people. Go ahead, Dutch. I digress.
Anyway, yes, but it's just silly. At around the same time, however, again, we're talking about 2009, 3 conservative congressmen formed a group that would end up at the center of the Tea Party conversation. The GOP Young Guns, led by Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen, and Kiefer Sutherland.
Used to be gold, Pony Boy.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Stay golden, Pony Boy.
That is a different Young Guns. Okay. But here is the abstract from the book, by these 3 gents. Make no mistake, Congressman Eric Cantor, Paul Ryan, and Kevin McCarthy are proud Republicans. But they believe, and you can hear like this has to be read like in the voice of Charlton Heston, of course, but they believe the party lost sight of the ideals it believes in. Like economic freedom, limited government, the sanctity of life, except those minorities killed, gunfire.
Limited government, except to force women to have babies and stuff like that.
And putting families first. This isn't your grandfather's Republican Party. These young guns are ready to take their belief in the principles that have made America great and translate it into new solutions that will make the future even better.
Written by Alec.
Solutions. That's exactly right. Solutions that will create private sector jobs. You can see, like, if there was like video behind this, you'd have some guy
wind's blowing through his hair,
working hard on a coal mine.
Yeah, there's some dude with a scythe. I don't know how to pronounce it. Cutting down wheat.
Yeah. Oh, that's an maximize individual freedom. Some girl just running through the wheat. Mm-hmm. It's going like this, and establish a better world for our children. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed little girl.
Yes,
really cute as a button.
Like the children of the fucking corn.
Yeah.
I apologize, gentlemen. The backyard was making unbackyard sounds, but I think the water, it's raining really bad. I think the water is dripping from the roof onto the air conditioner.
Back there making noise.
It was dripping on the air conditioner, so it sounded like somebody was like doing like a.
Oh,
I didn't hear it.
I didn't know who the fuck is trying to pick a lock?
I didn't know.
Oh, I got something for you to pick.
If anybody had slipped out the back of the club and was trying to use your backyard for a hotel room or something.
It was over there.
Yeah.
What the hell is knocking?
Yeah, that's like, remember on The Wire? Tap, tap, tap.
I'm like, yo, I know somebody ain't trying to get in this motherfucker.
Right, because all I got for you is a lead infection. I'm contagious.
Right. No, they're gonna be on this show. I'm like, come on in.
They'll pop up on stream behind you.
No. Come over.
Get over here. Sit your ass down.
Hey,
contribute, motherfucker.
Yeah, sit down. Crisscross applesauce. Silence bubble.
I'm on stream right now, so I ain't calling nobody. You wait.
Right. Call the cops when I'm done.
We got another hour and a half. No, you can't have no fucking bottle of water. I know I got 2. They both mine. Shut up. I'm thirsty.
Should I go back into character? Yeah, I'll stay in character.
Yeah, stay in character, Charlton.
These young guns will propel this country to prosperity once again.
Sing it, Daddy.
Not again. Again. The young guns.
Yes.
Are changing the face of the
guns
of the GOP and will give us a Big Mac back.
Return of the Mac. Yeah.
They will give us
what I wish. Pause.
Pause.
Think about this. You know what I wish? I wish that politicians had to wear like a NASCAR driver's jumpsuit with all of the patches of their donors.
Yeah.
On their suit when they were standing up in the halls. Whenever they're out standing up in.
That's a great fucking idea.
Whenever they're doing they're supposed to be doing.
Sponsored by Wonder Bread.
Yes. I just want to say before I start that the Pennzoil, NRA, oil lobby, has been great to me, and I'm gonna go ahead with my comments now for the people. But they got all of these sponsors. The people have taken money from. Well,
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
This legislation brought to you by my book.
Yes. That would be amazing. Like Mitch McConnell, I want to know. This.
Raid Shadow. I mean, every time I watch a TikTok, I say, and this was brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends or fucking Shark VPN, Manscaped.
Could you see that? Could you see Ted Cruz?
This law brought to you by the NRA.
Ted Cruz saying, "You play Game of War, you'll get 4,000 barrels of wheat for free.
Use my promo code Cancun10."
Yeah. Order now and we'll double up your offer for $19.99. Or
Plus you'll get
separate shipping and handling.
Plus you'll get the chrysalis armor for your hero.
Yes.
You'll get 3 armor picks exclusive to you.
You want that new Spidey skin? Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway,
All
I'm sorry.
No, that's good. All right,
We
so
need
I'll
some
start out
levity
this
today.
I'll start with this last sentence again because you'll this is great. These young guns are changing the face of the GOP and will give us a roadmap back to the American dream. And it's just somehow we lost it. Good fucking Lord. Thank you to our fucking saviors. I'm going to call them Run PMC. Paul, Ryan, McCarthy, Cantor, Run PMC. And do you note like the MAGA lingo there? Like they keep saying back.
It's dripping with it. It's dripping with it.
We got to go, and this was well before Trump, but it's all we got to go back to the American dream,
go back to the promised land.
Yeah, we'll
you
create
call
something.
People the N-word right there on the street, and not fear getting slapped.
They never say we'll prepare like the one sentence. We will propel this country to prosperity. You don't put the period after the word prosperity. They have to add in again.
Yes, because it's all about the hearkening back to
That's
a
fascism,
better time.
That's an ingredient of fascism.
Yeah, it's got to get back to a better time. I'm like, better for who? Better for whom? Better for whom?
What is the rule about whom and who?
I don't know the exact verbiage, but when you say like better for is whom, but if it's like in the beginning of the sentence, who is that?
I use whichever one word tells me to use.
There you go.
We'll solve that answer. Mikey will answer that question for you.
Just go on Grammarly.com. Grammarly, run us our money.
I'm running it. So the rule, who functions as a subject while whom functions as an object. Use who when the word is performing the action. Use whom when it is receiving the action. Kim is an athlete who enjoys distance running.
There's your grammar lesson for the day.
I'm on my fourth
welcome.
and Pellegrino. So,
bro, I can't drink anymore. It's weird.
What the fuck?
I drink one drink and I feel like shit the next day.
You need to switch drinks.
Yeah, you need to drink.
I can't drink nothing. Everything makes me like hungover now because I haven't had any.
Hey, you gotta get some more carbs in your system or something, dude.
Banter during the humidor is going to be amazing today.
You're a human.
My lips aren't tingling yet, so we still got a little time.
All right, so each young gun has a role. Cantor was called had a role, I should say. Like Cantor was called. Yes, they are. Yes, Scary Cantor was called the leader. He drafted legislation to oppose Democrat legislation.
He didn't draft shit. He copied and pasted from Alec.
He did that quite a bit, though. He did at least.
Sometimes they would leave a fucking header up there. The freaking.
I don't think that was Cantor I don't think that was Cantor that did that, but that does happen. Paul Ryan was the thinker. Apparently, he sat in a thoughtful pose all day.
I'm thinking about white supremacy.
And McCarthy, my own congressman from Bakersfield, and the only one left is the strategist. Now, McCarthy's role in this whole
he's the only one left.
It's very interesting that he's the only one left because he has got a very interesting role. And this is a quote from the book. Kevin is charged with recruiting fresh-faced Republican candidates for upcoming elections and leads the new governing agenda. Why should we remember that? Who the fuck is doing that on the left? I'm trying to think who. Because I know Pelosi, she does fund some other races with her coffers, but they're only for people who are like establishment Democrats.
It seems like they work against
anyway.
They work against a lot of the fresh
and they put them and they use that money against like progressive Democrats and folks who are running without PAC money. So it's ridiculous. Anyway, when the Obama administration announced the 2009 Homeowners Affordability and Stability Plan, that communist legislation, which, by the way, was an economic recovery plan to help homeowners avoid foreclosure by refinancing mortgages in the wake of the Great Recession.
How dare that ebonically challenged liberal, communist, socialist Kenyan slug?
Yes.
How dare he seek to save our homes?
So he introduces this, and
that's part of his strategy to make us slaves.
Right. And you'll get a kick out of this. So
right after drinking anyway.
Right after that was announced by the administration, the HASP, CNBC's Rick Santelli criticized it live from the floor of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which I remember this happening, and called it subsidizing losers. A number of traders behind him cheered, and the hosts in the studio had a great laugh. This later went viral on the Drudge Report, which was a hotbed for anti-Obamaism. So this is where the anti-Obama movement was first inspired to coalesce under the banner of Tea Party. Go figure. It happened on NBC, which I keep being told is part of the deep state, communist-loving liberal media.
Yeah.
Good God.
They support us.
I was convinced that must be true. I was convinced of it.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I mean,
so the Tea Party movement saw the opportunity afforded to them with these new followers and began to focus on getting out the 2010 vote, and the Young Guns jumped right in to the ground game and rode that wave. Now, some in the Tea Party did not like being, it is safe to say, or fair to say, some in the Tea Party did not like being involved in social issues. They thought they were too divisive. The Southern membership, however, of the group loved it, especially the social issues such as immigration and gay marriage opposers, and people in the heritage not hate crowd, those folks. Oddly, the Southern Tea Party makes up a disproportionate amount of the Tea Party movement in general. Although the South constitutes only 31% of the American population, it is home to 56% of Tea Party members nationally. You don't fucking say. Anyway, Tea Party groups endorsed 138 GOP candidates in the 2010 midterm, leading to many primary upsets over establishment Republicans, while the so-called liberal media stood there in awe. They gave them positive press, they interviewed them, and they promoted their ideas as progressive and innovative. It's all there. It's still online. Go fucking watch it. This led to the red wave of 2010. Again, the fucking so-called liberal media just loves their fucking conservatives. They love them. Anytime we're going to shake up the conservative party, they love them. However, there was an interesting twist for our dear gunslingers, Cantor, Ryan, and McCarthy run PMC. Ryan started facing backlash from many as he was seen more moderate on social issues and race issues. And he even had the audacity, Paul Ryan had the audacity to poo-poo some of the more overt racist attacks on Obama.
How dare he?
The Tea Party monster that Ryan helped usher in was now showing its teeth. Then, a few years later, the Tea Party outlaws killed their first young gun, Eric Cantor, the leader. Dave Brott Dave Brott, I think it's Brott, it might be Bratt, ran an anti-establishment campaign criticizing Cantor as being soft on immigration, yeah, right, and very into pro-government bailouts while yelling about God and the Constitution in his speeches. Brott called Cantor a crony capitalist who favored big corporations ahead of small businesses. Radio talk show hosts Laura Ingraham and Mark Levine, as well as author Ann Coulter, the evil three there, all endorsed Brott, who, despite being outspent 40-1, achieved one of the most stunning upsets in history, defeating Cantor, who was the majority leader. Brat's underdog win exposed the divide in the party between its establishment business wing and the Tea Party conservatives, a group fueled mostly by evangelicals. So who would win this battle? Well, Paul Ryan bowed out right after getting his tax cut in 2018, which was relatively early in the Trump era. He saw the writing on the wall. But McCarthy, he went so far as to have establishment Republican donors pose as Tea Party group, as a Tea Party group, in order to boost his MAGA street cred. Under Trump, McCarthy served as the Trump wingman. He defended the president after, a racist tweet, or he ran interference on impeachment, and generally doing whatever is necessary to defend the MAGA cause. So apparently Newt Gingrich lives on. Win at any cost. But who would win, I asked. Remember about that divide in the Republican Party? Mm-hmm. Here's the interesting answer. Both. They formed a fucking Voltron, and they run cover for each other in most cases. So I asked you two gentlemen this.
7.
And I'm asking this question, really, you're going to answer by proxy for Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi, what's your plan? Will you go fight against Voltron by going Megazord with the progressive wing? Or
win Voltron versus, never mind.
That's a question for another day. But like, if you look at the interesting piece here, Dave Brat beat Cantor using Bernie language, crony capitalism, favoring of big corporations, government. He's obviously not like Bernie with the yelling about God and the Constitution, but Bernie railed against pro-government bailouts. Bernie railed against big corporations, and and saying that small businesses aren't being treated the same. And what did he get for it? The Republicans embraced him because he won. They said, look, there's a winning strategy. Let's follow that. The Democrats, they see that. They hear Fox News say, oh, look, there's radicalism. And they go, oh, no, it must be radicalism. And then they fight their own hand. Am I wrong?
They do it all the time.
They're shitty. And it's unfortunate that they're the opposition of the even shittier. I wonder why young people are so disillusioned about politics. I wonder why.
Yeah, and we're in a midterm right now, guys, that is important. And we're probably going to lose it.
Oh yeah, we're going to get our ass whooped.
And but I'm going to tell you why we're going to lose it. We're going to lose it because we're not together. Because mainstream Democrats, your typical MSNBC, CNN viewer, they're more scared of AOC than they are Trump.
Which is, yeah, because you know something, at the crux of it, follow the money.
Mm-hmm.
At the crux of it, there's a lot of Democrats that's out there that's beholden to their donors just like Republicans are.
Yep.
And there's not enough people on either side that are beholden or feel a sense of duty truly, but besides lip service to their constituency.
Yeah. And the progressive wing, don't get me wrong, I'm very critical of Omar.
Oh, I'm not. And guess what? They can be just as guilty of that as well.
Yeah, they do the lip service thing and they don't introduce enough legislation. That's a legitimate criticism. But who do you think is going to get more airtime on MSNBC? Someone who supports the big corporations that also advertise on MSNBC, or someone who rallies against those corporations? I'll give you one guess, Mikey. Who do you think it might be?
C.
Yes. The answer
is C, man cow.
Yeah, that is the man cow. Yeah, well, what would be great is when someone would get that wrong.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm in the car yelling, what are you doing? The name of the game is the answer is C, you fucking hump.
What kind of idiot are you?
Yeah, I'm educated. What the hell?
But in all seriousness, this is why this is frustrating, because the Young Guns were not on the same page as the Tea Party. They amalgamated, and then it ended up taking two of them out, in time. But they were like, hey, let's use this, right? And for 33%, well, actually, in all three cases, they became majority leader. So all three of them had power.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Ryan was speaker. McCarthy's about to be speaker. So, it clearly works when you look at a schism that could possibly happen in your party and you say, hey, you know what? We're actually on the same team here. That doesn't happen on the left. And CNN and MSNBC are super complicit in this. They're the number one and number two people who are literally responsible for electing Republicans because of the way that they cover Democrats. And they give so much lip service and coverage to the crazy shit Republicans do that they end up normalizing.
Exactly. If I'm running against you for office, the last thing I'm going to do is go over all of your talking points and explain your platform for you. That's your job. It's your job to convince people to vote for you. But the bitchy ass Democrats at this point, they do so much complaining, they do just that.
Exactly. That they get to the point where they will frame, it's like someone who flies a Confederate flag in a way that's more palatable than someone who is
right
a socialist. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or by accident or what, but like they know that the guy who's flying the Confederate flag is not necessarily against their corporate money, but Bernie and his people are. All these progressives like Summer Lee, who just won her primary in Pennsylvania and never emailed us back in December when I tried to get in touch with her. I'm very disappointed about that. But nonetheless, you've seen these last 2 weeks with the contract with America and now with the Tea Party that even if you have a shitty message, they actually have a message that is coalesced and uniform, and that they market in a way that sounds palatable to Joe Schmo in the middle. Nancy Pelosi does no such thing. They call her a master legislator. That's because she's a master cherry picker.
Right.
She's not a master legislator.
So masterful that we still have the shit we're going on with now.
We just spent the first hour of this show looking at Mitch McConnell. And where are they picking up anything from the playbook and using it for good? Because they don't care. Democrats don't care about us.
Nope.
Let's be honest. They don't care about us. That doesn't mean you should vote Republican, because you absolutely shouldn't. I would rather have the ratchet stop than move that way. But
right.
It's for anyone who thinks that the DNC or the DCCC or, some of these other Democrat organizations or unions for that matter, actually give a shit about the people. Most of these unions don't care about their actual people. They're in bed with the fucking companies.
Exactly.
These business agents for the fucking unions are always cutting backdoor deals with the HR departments and the operations teams within the corporations. Oh, we'll let you fire this guy. Yeah, we can think he's a problem too.
Right.
Don't worry, we won't file a grievance on this one, or we'll pull. Yeah, and maybe sometimes you should do that, but they do it all the time. And all they care about is these unions, all they care about is their coffers. That's not an anti-union statement. I think unions are fine. But the unions I was in, Teamsters, don't give a fuck about you.
My union was garbage, and I will never fucking defend them. Now that I'm not in it anymore, I'm fucking done with them.
You were in one of the worst unions in America, the United
Yeah.
Food and Commercial Workers Union. They don't give any fucking representation to any of their fucking people. I worked at Dominic's for a year and a half. I didn't even know I was in the union. And when I got fired, I got fired from Dominic's for stealing something I didn't steal. Right?
Where's the union to represent you?
Stealing boxes.
What, you trying to build a clubhouse?
Dude, I'm going to tell you the true story. So I was working at Dominic's in the 90s. I forget what year. And Dominic's in West Chicago. And no, it was before 98. But
no, 88.
No, it was like 94.
1888.
So Rice Krispie Treat cereal had just come out. Right? So, and it was buy one, get one free. So I worked at Dominic's and I went and I bought a box of cereal and I bought a gallon of milk and I had a bowl upstairs and I was going to go upstairs and eat some cereal on my break. Right? Cashier said to me, these are buy one, get one free. I said, oh, okay. I'll go back and get the other one later. So she rang it up, blah, blah, blah. I went up, I had my lunch, I finished my shift. The end of the day, I went back out on the floor, grabbed my other box of cereal.
Which you had a receipt for?
Put it in my locker, right? 2-3 days later, they come back. They come back. They're like, "So we saw you on camera stealing a box of cereal."
He was stealing boxes for real.
And I go, I didn't steal that. I paid for it. It was buy one get one free. And they said, "Do you have your receipt?" I'm like, no, that was 3 days ago. You saw me buy it. I didn't even know that I was entitled to union representation.
Why would you be?
Because no one from the union ever came and said hello to us and told us what our rights were.
Nope.
Right?
And most of my new hires had no idea.
I went back. I've thought for years. I'm like, man, I should have gone back and sued the shit out of them. The union, not Dominic's.
Right.
You know, and the person who fired the LP guy at Dominic's who fired me. I mean, they didn't do anything to me. They just fired me, right? Like I didn't get arrested or anything. It was a box of cereal. But he never. It was my right for him. He's supposed to tell me, hey, by the way, do you want your union representation here? Nope. Never happened.
That's just like the cops when they tell you don't need a lawyer here. You didn't do anything, right?
And the funny thing is, I've heard stories. I've talked about this story many times. I've heard many, many people with UCFW who've echoed the exact same thing. They take those dues and don't do shit for you.
Yep.
There are some good unions. The Longshoremen's Union in Long Beach is fucking very, very strong union for their people.
If you watch the Wire, you know that Longshoremen's Union ain't no punk. No.
The UCFW, most of those brotherhoods are pretty good. There's obviously, La Luna is pretty good. That's not to say everybody within them, is perfect. But Teamsters, I can only speak for the one I was in. That was as corrupt as fuck, in bed with the mob and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Since the Hoffa days.
Yeah. Well, and oddly enough, Jimmy Hoffa Jr. was elected while I was a Teamster. And they pressured you pretty hard to vote for Jimmy Hoffa Jr.
No, they would never do that. That would be against the union rules.
They did it.
I mean, just like
over there, okay?
And all these guys who were like the truck drivers, all these old white dudes, these racist ass white dudes, overtly racist white dudes, they all wore pins. What election would have that been? It would have been like in probably the Clinton elections. They wore pins saying Clinton. They went, damn well they went to the polls and voted for Republicans. Damn well. So it's rabbit hole, but that's why we lose.
I mean, I think we all know, and I think most of our listening audience knows. I think the problem now is, now that we're looking for people to replace them, it is getting harder and harder to find well-intentioned, principled people to run against the people that are currently in the seats. And if we do find people that are principled, then they get the Shahid treatment, right? Or they have to run against a campaign that has $50 million in the coffers, and it's just like this ridiculously uphill battle. That is why certain people are going to just move to Canada and call it a day.
But look at Dave Brott, right? How did Dave Brott beat Cantor? With the help of Laura Ingraham, Mark Levine, and Coulter, and local media. When have you ever seen a progressive candidate who has 6 of the 10 same tenants get that sort of support? When did you see Nina Turner? And again, I'm not trying to endorse Nina Turner here, but like, when did you ever see Nina Turner on like MSNBC? Unless they were shutting her down. You know,
never.
Do you see? You just don't see it. Like, yeah, they'll have AOC on once in a while about something, but it's some soft topic where she's not going to bring up the things they don't want her to bring up. And she's getting weaker too by the day.
Yeah, she's starting to settle in.
Well, she voted for Nancy Pelosi right away.
Once you know where the sausage is made, I'm telling you, the power and money are so seductive.
Yeah. I mean, she's still one of the better ones, right? But like, but you're judging a normal person, which she is, up against monsters.
Right. She's
well, okay.
No, go ahead.
That it was one day where we could get like be a fly on the wall in somebody's house, like AOC's house or something, just to listen to her private thoughts about what's going on in Congress and stuff like that. You know, like I thought I could get here. I wonder how many disillusioned politicians we have right now. They're like, I thought I could get here and actually do some good, but the machine is just too powerful. And it's either go along to get along or get steamrolled.
Yeah. I mean, the only voices you have for, and that's, I'm not saying everything progressives do is good, because it's, I'll let you know when it's not. We've said this on this show back almost 5 years now. Right. But you've got most of the voices that come from the anti-establishment left are coming from independent media. Young Turks, Sam Cedar, Rational National, Humanist Report, Dig on America, Tony Michaels,
The Bin Podcast,
not Midas Touch.
No.
By the way, show me one minority that works at Midas Touch. And Tony, you've been on the show. We love you, but like, and I know you're tied in with them, but it's not your fault, but you don't own the place. But like, where's the minority representation? Every one of their podcasts is by a white guy or a woman. It's, I'm not saying they're racist or anything like that. I'm just saying like they don't, but they shit on progressives all the time. I've gone into Twitter spaces with huge Twitter profiles that are Midas Touch adjacent. I'm scarier than the Trump people they're talking to them.
Fearmonger.
And
scare us.
Anything outside of possibly the conversation about universal health care, which I think they want, any of the other conversations that we have on the show, they're not interested in. They'll scream Black Lives Matter all the time.
That's good content. Right? It's fun to be part of the revelry and the and the excitement, the energy from people's
there's a certain currency that comes with saying it.
Right.
And there's a certain currency that comes with giving the lip service to certain issues to get you reelected or to get you status or to get you power, to get you more views, get you more subscribers. But when it comes to actually putting forth legislation or, being the active ally that you say you want to be, then that's where people they stop short. Because at the end of it all, they don't want to stop that money. They don't want to stop that power. And they know that if they truly do what they're giving the lip service to, that's when you get the shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think in the case of Midas Touch, I think that I know they do a lot of good. I get it. They make a lot of great content. But you're afraid of some of the issues that you should not be afraid of, and you're not pushing the right people forward. That's not to say they're bad. They're certainly better than the alternative, right? And we probably agree on 85%. But if you shut me down, which you have multiple times, guess what? I'm going to shut your ass down. Not taking your bullshit.
The great Robin Sharma said it best. Tell the truth, even when your voice is trembling. Sometimes you have to lean into that fear and push through to the other side.
You do have to lean. And I'm going to tell you something else about fucking liberals.
Yeah, tell me what you think.
Hey.
No,
they say that we don't criticize liberals on this show.
Well,
no,
here's
this is an echo chamber.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what they fucking do. Okay, I'm in a group on Twitter run by Mad Dog, awesome, fantastic woman.
Mad Dog Muller.
Yes, Mad Dog. Yeah, she's a female veteran. Awesome. I love what she's doing with Resistance United. But all the people that are in her group, and she'll even tell you this, they don't want to support the candidates like Brent Henrick, like Alan Ellison, like Jesse Felipe, like Michael Owens, like all Ray Reid, Shahid, all these ones. And God, I bring up Shahid in there. They're fucking terrified, right? Mm-hmm. But they don't want to support the candidates. They don't want to retweet them. They don't want to go out there and engage with them. Do you want to know the reason why? And these are just regular Twitter users, some 2,000 followers, some with 100. Do you want to know the reason why they don't actively support the candidates? Take a guess. Take a guess as to why they don't get engaged with these candidates.
Because they don't want to piss off the establishment.
No, they don't give a fuck. They'll love to piss off the establishment. That's an incorrect guess. Good guess, but wrong.
I'm not guessing, so go ahead.
Because the candidates don't follow back.
Wow, that's so petty.
This is why I don't hang out with nobody.
Super
motherfuckers is weird.
That's petty because it's so hard to follow back sometimes if you got a bunch of people that started following you.
Yeah,
I know that from my page. I get a whole list of people that started following me, and I'm like, okay. Do I necessarily have time to go through all of those?
You're an influencer, though, Haas. You don't count.
Shit. I wish.
Like I get it. Like there was this thing on Twitter called the follow back resistance. You're doing that. You're supposed to follow back. I did it. I follow people back when they follow. Our podcast, if you look at our Twitter, we've got like 30 less followers than we have people we follow. Right? We have like 6,600 followers and like 6,580 people we follow. I try to get every single person back.
Yeah.
Just to do it, right? But there are people who will not, and I don't see this that much from conservatives. If they like Jim Jordan, they're going to fucking follow and retweet when we're Jim Jordan. But they will literally not follow like these candidates unless they follow them back. And I've heard multiple of them say this.
You know when I'm not following you back? If you don't have any posts on your page, I'm not following you back. If your freaking profile picture is a damn piece of toast or the Comic Sun sign or something like that,
or some mice,
I'm not following you back.
Damn those people with mice.
I had to tell my baseball players. They're like, you didn't follow me back. You don't post anything. Why am I following? What am I following? You got no post yet on TikTok or Instagram. Guess what? I'm not following you back. You got to post some stuff. Even if and here's the thing, I'm easy. I'm a cheap date. If you got 1 or 2 posts out there, I'll follow you back. But if you got 0, fuck out of here.
But that's petty with these I'm not going to retweet them because they didn't follow me back. So do you really care about the message?
No.
Clout
it's about them. It's about them. It's not about the cities, that are going to be influenced and affected by this worst candidate winning the election. Who cares about them? Who cares? That person didn't follow me back, so I'm not going to spread the message to get them some attention to hopefully help them win this election. Why should I? What's in it for me?
Yep. What's in it for me?
It's sad.
So many people have that attitude, and it's permeated all aspects of peoplehood. There's this what's in it for me. Like, that I talk about certain, you'll see it in the humidor. Those people don't pay me. They don't sponsor me. They don't send me boxes of cigars. You know what I'm saying? Still waiting on cigars from CAO. And they told us they were sending them. We didn't ask for them.
You're waiting on a shirt. Yeah, not cigars, but.
Well, whatever. But I'm just saying. My philosophy is, if I see you doing good, I don't care. I'm not promoting you or talking about you or giving you your flowers with the expectation of you giving back. That would be nice. But if you put out a good product or you have a good message, I want to put that out there to the 7 listeners that listen or whatever.
Yeah.
And
you don't see that from the other side. They're all pushing the same message. Now, I'm not, obviously not everybody, and I'm not speaking about everybody on either side here, but it's my experience says that that's why these candidates aren't getting the support. Are you really going to tell me that I'm not going to follow Alan fucking Ellison?
Well, no, he didn't follow me back.
Look, I don't, our Den America podcast account doesn't follow anybody except for people that follow us. We follow you back. That's where every single follower that we have comes from. We don't follow like DL Hewley or AOC, anybody, right? I do that on my personal account. Okay. Podcast account is every single follower. Go and look. It's just someone who followed us, right? It's a business account. It is what it is, right? So you show the interest in us to follow you, I'm going to follow you back. That's not to say everybody has to do that. But if you think that I'm only tweeting out stuff from candidates that follow us, you're out of your goddamn mind. Because if the message is there, it's going to get retweeted. So, and that's not all of it, right? There's other stuff, but most of this falls on the shoulders of the DCCC and the DNC and these precinct captains and these members of the Democratic Party, because they're so beholden to the exact same corporate donors that the Republicans have that they run more cover for them than they do for us.
Yep. It doesn't matter as long as you guys comment, like, and subscribe, to me shitting on people without having any sort of actual reason for not liking them, other than the fact that they don't follow me.
I'm done. That's it. There's your dig. So Young Guns. Boom.
Boom. Get Young Gunned.
Tea Party. Go dump some Coca-Cola in the Chicago River.
Got a question. Question. When are the powers that be on the left going to start stealing the playbook of the right a little bit?
That's the whole point of the dig for the last 2 weeks. And you just asked the key question. They won't.
Nope.
Sometimes you got to get a little muddy, dude.
And that's why we need to vote these motherfuckers. Nancy Pelosi needs to get the fuck.
And the deep state said no.
Shut them down.
You froze.
Take them down now.
Oh, I froze when I really?
Yep.
I'm hardwired in too. That's crazy.
Deep state said you better watch it.
He said hardwired.
Nancy Pelosi needs to get the fuck up out of Congress. Dianne Feinstein needs to get the fuck up out of the Senate. Maxine Waters needs to get the fuck out of Congress. Okay.
Oh.
There's.
Don't you say nothing bad about Auntie Maxine.
There's
claiming my time.
Maxine Waters, you care so much about your district, live in it.
No, you live in it.
Have you seen the hovels that they have in that district?
How much money I make?
Fucking hovel. Phil Canton, dude.
but it's all, and I'm telling you right now, California has the worst of the worst. Luis Royale Allard, I believe you say it. Like I said, Feinstein. You know, you've got even Gavin Newsom. He's a fucking elitist, dude.
I bet he has a yard.
He's a fucking
got a fucking yard haver.
He's a he definitely has a yard. He has a vineyard. He's a wine. He owns wine vineyards.
He's a sommelier.
Probably.
You know, he's out there telling people to wear a mask during COVID and running around without one on at hobnobbing at his wine parties.
But are they all vaccinated?
With his fake teeth.
Them things are bright. Them things are almost neon white.
He's going for the Joel Osteen look.
You can do it.
It's like
I'm sad to say I used to watch Joel Osteen a lot. But Katrina happened and I was like, I'm out.
No, it was that flood.
We had Mike Ortega, a progressive from California, on the show. We had Angelica Duenas on the show, a progressive from Southern California.
Well, look at you, Angelica.
Right?
You couldn't even say Duenas.
But they get and Shahid. Those are the three California guys that we had on the show. I might be missing one, but if I apologize. They get no publicity at all. Oh, Bruno Amato, but he dropped out. But
we don't talk about Bruno. No.
Oh, and Lauren Hubbard. So we've had a few.
Yeah.
Right. But like these, they don't get any publicity at all from their maybe a brief little write up in the local paper, and then that's it. You know, and it's like,
and then they wonder why is my district so crazy? It's because you don't fucking put in any legwork. And I meant to say this earlier. Like, people can complain, but until you launch your own show, you don't get it, right? Until you launch your own podcast, you guys complain about us. Try it, and then try doing it for a month, and then like a year, and then multiple years. This we don't do this without support from everybody else around us, right? We need everybody that watches us. We need everyone's interactions to make us feel like we're not just wasting our time, right?
Yeah, you don't have to agree with us,
right?
Nope,
you don't have to agree with us. We don't give a fuck. Like, I would rather I don't agree with Flow State on hardly anything. But I have more respect for him than I do for half these other motherfuckers, because at least he tunes the fuck in.
Right.
You know, you've got all these people who say, oh, we love, Digging America. I watched an episode. You guys are fucking awesome. Did you hit the subscribe button? No.
Where you at though?
Oh, I gotta listen to Midas Touch. I gotta listen to Rachel Maddow. It's like, and if that's what you want to do, Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's fine. Like, but it took us. I'm telling you right now. This show is fucking badass. Okay, like I'll, except for myself, like we've got 4 now phenomenal hosts. Well, 3. You know, I don't count. Possibly 4 when we get Amber on, because that meeting is happening tomorrow.
White hosts matter, Dutch.
Yes, but like we get, think about what we do. We have authors on the show. We have actors on the show. We have relatively big time candidates on the show. Maybe not your A tier, but your B tier, right?
They're A tier to us.
And a lot of these folks will be. Natalie James is probably going to be an A tier. You know, so like we get it. We know our role, but it took us under TJ and under Mikey. Now it took us 3.5 years to hit 1,000 listens a month on iTunes. Did it for 3.5 years with getting 17 listens a show. One of which was from me. You know? And it's
that's because we're not talking the divisive spiel that people like to label us with.
No, you know what it is? And I'm going to rag on our listeners a little bit here. It's
get up here in the front row. Stand up in front, listeners.
And this is not true of everybody. It's not true of everybody. If I'm not talking about you, I'm not
if the
talking.
shoe don't fit, don't worry.
I'm not talking to you.
A hit dog, a holler.
But how many times do we have guests come on the show? How many times are you telling people about this fucking show?
Mm-hmm.
How many times you said, hey, you know what? I know a good podcast. They're small, but they're really fucking good. And they get on fucking awesome guests. We have guests. We've had 3 fucking people from the Young Turks on this fucking show.
Yep.
Find me another podcast with 400 subscribers on YouTube that has had 3 fucking people from the Young Turks on, 25, 30 candidates this year, and badass authors and actors.
Yeah.
Who you know who they are. Not the guy who fucking stood behind the bar and
walked by like this.
Right? You know, but they come on here and have something to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing this for money.
Obviously not.
I am.
Obviously not.
Well, eventually we would like to, but
this shirt is 10 years old.
But that is, but here's the problem.
It's actually older than that.
That is the problem with people on the left. I'm sorry, because we don't share each other. You want to be an independent creator and not support other independent creators? Go fuck yourself.
Good luck.